I chose to study at George Washington and Georgetown, and of course studied economics, history, international affairs, diplomatic and consular practice, particularly at Georgetown, where I got my degree in Bachelor of Science. Once again, by the time I had finished my studies at Georgetown in the spring of '56, I had already taken the exam for the Foreign Service and passed it in late '55. To prepare me to go overseas, I was trained in the French language for about 5 months, and was actually offered by one of my coworkers in the employment division a job that had come available and which he then needed to fill, which involved being a political officer at the embassy in Monrovia, Liberia. The president, of course, had been president for a very long time, and the label of dictator fits, but benevolent should go with it. And I wasn't prepared for the Bolton stay quite as well as I should have been, and when I got there, I found that it was a place where I felt more at home and more comfortable and more appreciative of Africans and their thinking and their behavior.
So this was a promotion. You became deputy chief?
Yeah, not a big deal. I was still a political officer. That was my
Okay.
primary job, doing political reporting and being the only person there with that title. But I was also the deputy to the ambassador, so that's
Okay.
called the deputy chief of mission. And I had a very accomplished Africanist as ambassador. He had been at Columbia University, and his name is Elliot Skinner. And Dr. Skinner had done his anthropological studies in Upper Volta and had learned one of the principal languages, Moray, which is spoken by the Mossi and several other peoples, I guess. Deputy Chief of Mission, and for the first time, we were able to use the word minister counselor.
Okay.
And it's kind of a pay grade, with a
Okay.
lofty sounding title.
Okay. And so you were there for 2 years? 2 years and
A little over 2
a
years.
little over two years. And what do you remember about that?
I think about those years not only as Senegalese years, but Leopold Senghor years.
One kind of leader to another, another kind of leader. You went to Kinshasa, Zaire, right? 1977 to 80. You were based.
77 to 80.
Yeah. So you were based in Kinshasa,
And as the assistant to the ambassador, the deputy chief of mission, and I think they called us minister counselor there as well.
and there you had dealings with Mobutu.
I had dealings that started with being very much aware that our mission was enormous. It was the administration of Carter,
Okay.
and the telephone call came from the Assistant Secretary for Africa, who told me that the president had inquired, would I go and do the job in Guinea of chief of mission or ambassador. I was back in the Department of State at the end of my assignment to Guinea, and I got a telephone call, a personal call from President Reagan.
Okay.
And he asked me over the telephone if I would be willing to be his ambassador to Uganda. And I knew that Uganda was in a dreadful state. But at the time, it appealed to me, and I'd already gotten a reputation for going to places like that, so for better or for worse, I accepted it.